Alright, what's going on, guys? I'm back here with Ethan. The guy's cracking up, look at him. He's updated his Croc deck profile, version 2.0, man, from Treasure Cup. Now, this is an OPO2. This is OPO2. So, the guy's got some wicked tech that he's going to show off to you right now. Are you ready, my man?
I'm more than ready.
He's more than ready. Alright, let's get into it, bro.
Let's get it started.
Smash it.
Okay, so starting it off, we've got the 4 buggies. Obviously, searching your impel down top 5s. Searching your cards such as Ivankov, Luffy, your 2k counters like Mr. 2, and that's all that's in there for. Obviously, it's also got the 1k counter as well.
Yep.
So moving that on, moving on to a few of the blockers now.
Now this man loves his blockers.
So you got your 2 Trafalgar Law blockers. Yep. Obviously, 1 cost, no counter, so it can't be cycled through. Dropping them off early is also beneficial, but that's the only reason we have 2 of them and not 4, purely because they don't have counter and you can't cycle through them. Your searchers, setting up your next moves, pretty standard in most blue decks, even in 01. Doflamingo, placing down, looking at top 5, rearranging, helps you cycle through to your curve cards and stuff like that. Moving on to the 2k counters of the deck. We've got Mihawk, Alvida, and Mr. 2. Out of all of these, Alvida is the only one that actually would see play nowadays. Everything else is just 2k counter, and the reason we have this Mr. 2 specifically is because it can be searched with buggy. So if you play the the buggy, which is the top 5, you don't see a Ivankov, you don't see a Luffy, but a Mr. 2 is there, you haven't whiffed through all of your search. Moving on to one of the engines of the deck, we've got Pacifista and Santamaru engine. So the reason I've only got 3 Santamarus and not 4 is, again, the deck doesn't thrive off of Santamaru like OPO1 did. This deck can run off a few different engines like the Impel Down engine, so while it is beneficial to get it out, it's not a necessary thing to win. In extension, running onto that, we've got our 4 Pacifistas, bread and butter. Like, we can drop it as a vanilla, has counter, and it goes off of Santamaru. Adding on to that, we've only got 2 Pacifista blockers, because you don't really want to see this in hand, but it's very, very good when you can chuck out a blocker when they're least expecting it with the Santamaru's ability, dropping it on 6 Don. Now, moving on to a bit of the curve cards. We've got ourselves 2 Crocs, 4 Luffys, and 4 Ivankovs. So, this is, again, engine of the deck. You're dropping your Ivankov, hopefully summoning into your Luffys. Worst case scenario, you've got your Crocs. Now, Croc can be played a turn prior, since it's on the 5. Play the Croc, play the Ivankovs, play the Luffys. You've got board flood, you can bounce, etc. So yeah, this is very, very, very aggressive style deck. Not like the old OPO1 decks that were very defensive based with Crocodile, especially blue-purple Crocodile. Now this adds quite the ramp, or not ramp, sorry, quite the curve and aggression onto the deck itself.
Yeah, sweet. I mean, that Luffy's pretty good, so it helps you bounce cards and such.
It's one of the best cards in the set, I'd say, definitely in my opinion. And then we've got just a bit of our clearance, which is a 9 cost 9k Mihawk. The reason this is in the deck, obviously, because bottom decking 7, and after you've hit your 7 drop curve, you've not really got too much to do after that, other than board maintenance and board wiping. And then going obviously for endgame, so getting those pesky 7 costs and below out of the way completely without even having to swing, extremely beneficial. And the reason I have it as 2 and not 3 or 1 or 4 is because I think 2 is the sweet spot with this card, purely because if you do draw into too many too early, it is pretty much a death sentence. So getting that sweet spot with the right amount of search through the deck is very beneficial. Moving on to the events of the deck, we've got 2 Overheats, 3 Breakfasts, and 2 Sables. So this is all bounce. We've got our Overheat that bounces an active 3 or less. We've got our Breakfast that bounces a 4. We've got our Sables that bounces a 7. And the reason I've gone for primary bounce is because this deck and most of cards that would give this sort of deck trouble are bounceable by all of these, especially Breakfast. Like your Borsellino's definitely a killer in this set at the moment. But having this at your disposal with such good trigger for such low cost, really, really good. So that's why I've only run these. No Love Loves, no Deathwings, no Gum Gum Rain. I feel like this is a sweet spot on the events for this so far. And the only thing I would possibly change in the future in this is definitely the amount of Pacifista blockers or the amount of Crocs we have in the deck. Might up that to a 3, not too sure. But at the moment, what we have here is quite a sweet spot for this deck. It's running quite well.
Awesome.
And yeah, so that's it.
That's about it. Awesome. Well, there you have it, guys. Mr. Croc Man himself, I'd say. Hey, Ethan, you're loving it, man. He loves this deck. The deck's been doing so well. And by the way, check out those winner dons right there. Absolutely beautiful.
A few of my OPO 1 wins on turn into OPO 2 winner cards.
Awesome, man. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Any shout outs, Ethan?
Shout out to my boy Jimmy, right behind the camera, being a G.
Yeah.
And yeah, big shout out to Beyond. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Awesome, man. So yeah, thanks very much, guys. Remember to like and subscribe. Hit that bell to stay notified. And as always, we will see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.